In this video, you will learn the benefits and drawbacks of accepting insurance as a private medical practice. Hi, my name is Liz. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button so that you get notifications of future content. Hey everybody, today we're going to talk a little bit about whether or not you want to accept insurance in your private practice and what some of the benefits of either accepting or not accepting are. So let's get started here with the benefits of not accepting insurance. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the increased autonomy that it gives you as a practitioner. As a nurse myself, I've worked for both private practices and in nursing facilities where we were kind of dictated by insurance. And in a private practice that doesn't accept insurance, it's always a little easier to cater the care plan to the patient because I am not bound by the rules of insurance. So that is one thing where it is definitely a benefit. You can have more control over the types of treatments that you do because you don't have to get insurance's approval. The fees that you charge are obviously a lot more flexible. You can either charge a lot more than what insurance would or a lot less. Usually it actually ends up being quite a lot less. And, the different treatment plans that you can offer to your patients can also vary a lot more. This allows your providers in your practice to be focusing on the patient rather than trying to adhere to the different requirements of insurance. And then the next thing we'll talk about is the reduced administrative burden. If you do accept insurance, you obviously have to keep up with all the laws and regulations that go along with that. That includes billing, your ICD-10 codes, and all those different things that you have to do when you're accepting insurance. Your nurses have to call for pre-approval for different treatments and medications. There is a lot that goes with that. So obviously not accepting insurance kind of wipes a lot of that away, and you get to save many, many hours and a lot of dollars on making sure to adhere to all of that. So a lot of administrative work goes on, which is a good thing. Billing, coding, your claims processes. You can streamline your administrative process a lot. You don't have to have a billing person on staff locally, in your practice physically. You can outsource that to someone online, all kinds of different things. All right, and then a flexible pricing and fee structure is another one of the benefits to not accepting insurance. So without constraints of insurance or without insurance dictating exactly what you have to do and get to do, dictating your reimbursement rates, you can, as a private practice, set your own fee schedule. And like I said, a lot of patients don't understand it's actually a lot less money. A lot of times if you pay out of pocket versus to a place that doesn't take insurance versus having insurance be the one to cover it. And that does take a lot of education on the part of the patient. I know that a lot of times it can be very, very overwhelming for them and also hard for them to understand because the bill seems larger at first rather than smaller. But those are just a couple of the benefits. There are a couple more here that we're going to go over in just a minute. All right, so let's talk about a few more benefits to not accepting insurance. It often enhances the relationship between the doctor and the patient. Again, because of that reduced administrative load, you are able to focus more on what the patient needs and deliver it at a pace that they're comfortable with rather than having to adhere to the insurance's schedule and take that time that you really need with that patient. It's actually one of the number one complaints I get from patients is that doctors don't take the time with them to listen and they don't take the time to actually think outside the box because our bodies, as much as we would wish they were cookie cutter, are definitely not cookie cutters. Being more focused and being more direct, the physician can spend more time with the patient, which is super important. You can develop a clearer understanding of what the patient is going through as a practitioner, and the patient gets to understand that the doctor does truly care about the patient and what the patient is going through. The next thing we'll look at is faster payment and improved cash flows. So with insurance, sometimes you have to wait 30 days, 60 days for the insurance company to process the insurance claim. If you don't accept insurance, then you're able to just have it done automatically. Whether you have them pay in some kind of schedule for their services or whether they pay up front immediately, obviously that money comes in faster and it's more readily available more easily. There are lots of delays with insurance and complexities. And so a lot of times that money isn't there right away for you to run your practice, pay the rent, get supplies, that kind of thing. Obviously, there is also a reduced risk of denied claims and audits if you are not accepting insurance because there are no claims. So that administrative burden of dealing with denied claims and dealing with insurance audits, again, that's many, many more hours and many, many more dollars that you are able to actually avoid. So it is important to note that not accepting insurance may limit your accessibility for some patients who rely on insurance coverage. So obviously, when you are doing your marketing and targeting, you're going to want to consider whether or not you are accepting insurance, because if you are not. All right, so let's talk about a few more benefits to not accepting insurance. It often enhances the relationship between the doctor and the patient. Again, because of that reduced administrative load, you are able to focus more on what the patient needs and deliver it at a pace that they're comfortable. All right, so let's talk about the benefits of accepting insurance. Obviously, one of the biggest is going to be an expanded patient base, because so many people actually rely on their insurance in order to pay for their medical costs, both routine and non-routine, acute. And that's going to open up the doors for you for more patients to be able to come to you. Your practice can also make its services more accessible and appealing to those patients. This can lead to an increased number of patients seeking care from your practice. All right, and then the next benefit is increased patient retention. Not only do you get them in the door for the first time more often, but you also keep them because the financial burden on them is less than if you didn't take insurance. They are more likely to remain loyal and continue receiving care from that practice. Accepting insurance can foster patient loyalty and retention, as patients may prefer to receive care from a provider that accepts their insurance and offers the convenience of in-network services. So obviously something else to consider. You also get more predictable and reliable payments rather than a different kind of a schedule. So insurance companies typically have established fee schedules and payment processes. By accepting insurance, a practice can benefit from a predictable and regular flow of patients. Insurance reimbursement can provide stability in the practice's revenue stream, reducing financial uncertainties and improving cash flow. So in some ways, with not accepting insurance, it again reduces that burden. And at the same time, by taking insurance, you might be able to take on more patients and therefore have a more reliable income stream for your practice. All right, so let's look at some more benefits of accepting insurance. The next thing we're going to look at is enhanced credibility and reputation. So accepting insurance can contribute to a practice's credibility and reputation with the healthcare community. Being in network with insurance companies demonstrates that the practice meets certain quality standards and is recognized by reputable insurance providers. This can help attract new patients, establish trust, and enhance the practice's reputation among other healthcare professionals. So, for instance, my chiropractor. When I go to look for chiropractors, I specifically look for chiropractors that are within my network so that my regular adjustments are covered. So just by accepting insurance, that can easily get you on the list of someone's preferred providers. So that's something else to look at. Increased patient compliance. So obviously, when we create care plans for patients, we are hoping that they are going to continue down that care path and they're going to comply with the treatment plan. But as you know, sometimes that can be difficult. So insurance coverage often encourages patients to seek preventative care and follow through with recommended treatments. By accepting insurance, a practice can facilitate patient compliance with healthcare recommendations, as patients may be more likely to pursue necessary screenings, vaccinations, and treatments if they are covered by insurance. So again, that's something to consider for your practice. The last thing we're going to look at that is a benefit of actually accepting insurance as a private practice is the networking opportunities. So by joining an insurance network, you provide opportunities for collaboration and referrals from other healthcare providers and hospitals. Participating in insurance plans allows a practice to establish connections with specialists, hospitals, and other professionals within the insurance network. This can lead to collaborative care arrangements, and referral networks can be beneficial to both the practice and its patients. So in closing, it is worth noting that accepting insurance also comes with administrative requirements, such as billing, coding, and managing claims. These tasks can be time-consuming and require dedicated staff and resources. Additionally, insurance reimbursement rates may be lower than what a practice would typically charge for service. However, these factors are often balanced by the benefits mentioned above, making insurance acceptance a favorable option for many private practices. So whether you decide to accept or not accept insurances, there's always, things to weigh on either end. And I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. Don't forget to document it, delegate it, and get it done.